Hey YouTube friends, if this is your first time on this channel, let me introduce myself. My name is Jessica and I am the owner and operator of Roundtown Candle Co. I'm a small hand-poured soy wax candle business based out of a little town in Ohio. So we're going to get right into it today because today I'm going to show you how I label my candles. So not going to show you how I print the labels, that's a different video. I'm just going to show you kind of what I use and how my process works for actually labeling my candles. So first of all, I am a Canva Pro subscriber. I love Canva, love it. I use it to design my labels. I used it to design my business cards, my candle care cards. I use it for YouTube thumbnails. I use it for Facebook and TikTok, Instagram, all kinds of things when I'm trying to post. So they have a lot of really cool templates and designs. You can start from scratch and design your own and things like that. So love Canva Pro. It's worth every penny. Then I purchase my labels through Avery and I print all of my own labels to try to be a little bit, save myself a little bit of money on that, obviously, with the exception of my 4-ounce jars. So my 4-ounce jars, I do not print those labels myself, and the reason is those labels I put on the lid, so it's a round label and it has a bordering around it, so just a solid black circle that borders that label. And no matter what I tried, no matter what alignment I did, I could feed one sheet at a time and I'd feed one sheet through and it would come out good, and then maybe the next one might be just a little bit off center. They were inconsistent and I just thought it looked really unprofessional. So I let Avery print those for me and they do an amazing job. They print super fast, but the only downside to that, if there is one, is that the shipping, unless you want to pay a pretty decent amount to have them shipped quickly, the shipping does take a little bit of time. So I don't know if it's like maybe 5 to 7 business days, not a lot of time, but the point is I wouldn't recommend it if you need your labels like ASAP. So on this particular one, this is a new scent that will be available on Monday, the first day of spring. And so I've known this, like I've been testing this scent, I already named this scent, like I already know what it is. So I knew I had weeks to get the labels for this. So as soon as I start testing and I know this is a scent that I want to add to my line and I'm ready to go, then that's when I go on and I create the label and I have them print it, and that way, a couple weeks later, whatever it is, it'll show up at the door and it's like no sweat. So Canva for design, Avery for printing. I can go through and show you also, we'll save that. I'll show you some of the actual printing stuff I do in another video, but for right now, we'll just focus on how I label these things. So I have 3 different candles. I have my 8-ounce tin, my 8-ounce glass jar, and then my 4-ounce glass jar. So the tin and the 8-ounce jar, those labels go on the actual jar themselves or on the tin. And then again, this one is the only one that gets the label on the lid. So as far as my labels go, let me get this chair out of the way. All right, so I was going to get like a filing cabinet to kind of keep everything in. And filing cabinets are goofy expensive for one thing. And then I found this on Amazon, which I'll link it in the description below. And I'm gonna try to like sort of lift this up. So this is what my little cart looks like. It's got wheels. You can pull out, I don't even know, you probably can't even see what I'm doing here. You can slide it out. So you can slide the files out to yourself. And I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go with this for right now. And I love it because it's really convenient as far as I can just roll it right over. So I've seen a lot of people do their labeling a lot of different ways as far as organization goes. As for myself, I don't do it by label size or whatever. I pre-print my labels once I have a candle that I know I'm gonna be putting into my lineup. And then each one gets its own folder. So this is my bourbon butterscotch. So all of my labels for my bourbon butterscotch candles are in here. So I have these. I also have my wax melt labels and tea light sample labels, the little tiny ones that the names are on that I just put across the tea lights. And I will show you that. So I have tea lights, and I like to give these as little samples because it just makes it nice. When somebody has an order, I can just throw one in of a different scent. And so I use a little sticker from Avery, and this is the 94203 is the template number. And it's perfect. Look at this. It's so perfect because that little sticker just goes right on the tea light, and it makes it super easy to know what's what. So I use those. But anyways, so every scent has its own folder. It makes it super easy. So this is one of my brand new scents for spring, and this one I named Lemon Fresh, which I think it's so cool. So in my Lemon Fresh folder, which I use that little sticker that I just showed you that I put on the tea light to label it, I also put one of those on a little manila folder. That way it makes it quick and easy. So I have these, which are those 94203 labels. And I do some other stuff with these little labels, and I'm gonna show you that in another video because I've actually got some pretty cool stuff that I do with those. So then here's the sheet of my 8-ounce jars. So we'll get those out. And then these, if I can get to them, are the ones that Avery has printed for me. And so these will be for my lids there. And again, you guys, I can't do what they can do on those round ones. It's pretty incredible. So, and then I've got the sheet for my tins. So I just get these out, and then we'll just start with, and these are super easy because obviously these little labels here, they're really easy to just center in on the lid. So you can see what that looks like, and you can see that border that I'm talking about that is impossible to do yourself. So that's where my good friends at Avery saved the day. So there you have it. That's super easy. Obviously on that one, no special tools or anything needed. So my wicks are trimmed. I always kind of just double check when I'm putting the lid on and labeling. It's like the last time I'm really gonna give a good hard look at it. So I always wanna make sure I've got my warning label on there. I make sure no cracks in the jars, no spills around the edge. I want it to look clean. And anytime somebody orders candles, before I package them up, I always take the lid off to just give it another look. I want to make sure that the wick is properly trimmed. I want to make sure to look at the surface of it to make sure it doesn't look like there's going to be any big craters or voids underneath the top layer. This batch that I poured came out really good. For those of you who use soy wax, I'm sure you know the struggle is real, that sometimes you get a top that just doesn't look great. When that happens, I just roll out with my heat gun. I got a heat gun that I purchased at Harbor Freight. It was super cheap, and I use that thing all the time. And so I can just heat the top and let it kind of melt down and do its thing. So, all right, so these are my Lemon Fresh 4-ounce. Again, these labels just go right on the lid. That's really easy. I will set those aside and finish those in a bit because that's not really anything too exciting. But what I will show you now is for my 8-ounce jars. Like I said, I do the labels on the side. I print these labels myself, so that helps me to save money. I think they look good. It really works for me. So I purchased, and this will be in the description below, I'll have the link for this. This is the Label Wizard, and this is an adjustable piece. And honestly, when I started out with this, I just eyeballed the labels. I mean, to me, I just, you know, looked and just put them on, and for the most part, it was fine. They were straight, was pretty, you know, fairly consistent. But then every now and then I would notice that a label was kind of off, or the positioning just didn't feel very good. And I started to see, and maybe like people wouldn't even notice this, even if it was people that had purchased 2 or 3 or 4 of them, maybe they wouldn't have lined them up and been like, that label's a little bit off. But for me, you know what it is, you want to put your best foot forward. You want to look as professional as you can. You want your business to be a top-notch real business. You want people to take you seriously. So it's sometimes it's those little details that can matter a lot. So anyways, I decided that I was gonna try this Label Wizard, give it a shot, and I'm really glad that I did. All right, so I'm gonna show you. This here is adjustable, so you can slide this around as you need to. So let me show you here. I think you can see that there, but I'll lift it up too. All right, so I take my jar. Man, these really poured good, you guys. There's like no pulling away from the glass or anything on that. So I put my jar flat down at the bottom like so, and it just sits in there real nice and snug. So I put my jar there. Then I'm gonna pull my label off. And for myself, I just stick it to this black piece over here. It's not touching my jar yet. I just stick it there, and then what I do is I just come over here and push it against the glass. Then I lift it up off the jar so the label's not on yet, and then I just take my finger and run it across like that. And it's really straight, you guys. It's good. It makes it real easy to do that. Very consistent. It's fast. You don't have to sit there and, you know, try to keep the jar from rolling around, holding on to it and putting the labels down. So I'll do a couple more of these. As soon as I say it's fast and easy, it just stuck to my hand and I just pulled it away. But it's fast and easy. So there. So yeah, the Label Wizard makes it really nice. Again, if you just want that consistency, because you put your label on here in the same position and your candle is down against the bottom. So it's the same every single time. You don't have to worry about, you know, doing one of those where you're looking at it and you think it's straight, and then all of a sudden you look at it and it's definitely not straight. All right, so that's what I do for my 8-ounce jars. And I really like it. And I don't have a fancy printer, you guys, as far as printing my labels. I don't have like, I don't know, it's not fancy. It's just, I use an HP OfficeJet 8702. It's something I had before I even started my candle business, and I just used it for just our basic everyday home office stuff, and it's been a fine printer. So I just decided that I would try it with these labels, and it works fine. Now I've seen some kind of special printers and, you know, stuff that I'm sure prints a really good label, but because this one works and I already have it, I didn't really see the point in going out and buying another one, just because maybe it's more like for labels. All right, so there you go. You guys can see my Lemon Fresh, very consistent. They all line up. So now we come to my 8-ounce tin. As you can see, not even close to the same. So what I did is I put my tin up against here to see if it would work, which it does. And then where I told you that this piece is adjustable, I just loosen this up, slide it down, and you can see here, I've got 2 pencil marks. So what I did is once I added my tins to the mix and I knew that I was gonna need to move this, I didn't want to lose the spot for my 8 ounce because it was perfect. So I just took a little pencil and drew across there. And then when I got my tins, I did the same thing. So I just drew a little line on there. So I just loosen it up and move it down and tighten it. And now I've lowered it down to work with my tin. So I use a different label, a different size label, obviously, for that. So now I just put it to the bottom of that black piece again and bring it down and put that on. And then the lid is here. So these tins are really cute. And so there you go. You can see how nice that looks. It's really straight. And again, I get to have consistency with my labels when I do this. So I can do that. Now with these, because they're longer, if you can see what I'm doing, I put the label on and hold it down with my finger, and then I just pull this out straight and then put it down there because it's a longer piece. But again, there we go, put the lid on and it's perfect. So the Label Wizard, highly recommend. It's so good. You can move it and make those adjustments. Just take a pencil or pen or whatever, and right at the top of that black piece right there, just do your little line. And that way it makes it so easy to switch from one to another without having to be like, I don't really know exactly where it was. So that's it, you guys. That's how I label my candles. It works really well for me. Again, I only do the 4 ounce is the only one that I actually have printed for me. The rest of them I do myself, and I've never had any issues with them. Never. And it's really affordable too, because I buy the big boxes of the Avery labels, and then on the bottom I just have a little thing here. So this one is for my 8 ounce jar and my wax melt. So I use the same label size for the 8 ounce jar as I do for my wax melt. So it makes it easy. So I've got different ones over here and they're labeled to help me out. So that's it. That's what I do. That's how I label. I think I probably will come on here at some point in time on another video if you guys are interested, and let you know the sizes of the labels, the label numbers, and stuff like that in case you're interested in printing your own. And also, like I said, the small labels that I have, I will show you what I do with them, because these are super handy for multiple things that I do. So I'll definitely share that with you. But that's it for today. That's all I have. That's how I label my candles. And if you have any questions or input or something that you do differently, that's great. Please leave it in the comments and let me know. And like I said, I will have links down below for sure for this Label Wizard. If you don't have one, you should absolutely get one. And then also for my little handy dandy rolling filing cart. So that's it for today, you guys. I will see you next time.